Our next speaker is 11Y112, and the title is Snoring, from A to Z.
There's an interesting tale that I think you should hear, one that will make you quake with fear. There was an interesting sound in the dark of the night that left our neighborhood quaking with fright. The Jones house seemed to be the source of the sound. Well, hooray! A culprit could now be found. We were plagued by the causes of the sounds no more. Can you guess? Okay, yes. It's a snore. Snoring. These nocturnal noises have been called practically everything, ranging from the phantom of the night to my personal favorite, the mating call of an elephant with asthma. Snoring has the power to turn roommates into enemies, shatter nighttime silence, and completely blast the bliss out of a marriage. Regarded as everything from a joke to a major pet peeve, snoring is definitely not a quiet issue. So come on. Let's toss and turn our way through the ABZs of snoring. Now, surprisingly, snoring wasn't always a nuisance. According to the American Anthropological Association, our prehistoric ancestors actually used snoring to defend themselves. When early humans left the safety of forests and ventured onto the emerging savannas, nap time proved to be one of the most vulnerable times of day. After all, a snoozing caveman was less likely to be ferocious to predators lurking nearby. So cavemen began making these growling sounds during their sleep. When primitive animals heard these terrifying noises, well, they were too afraid to attack. Unfortunately, when snorers claimed to their loved ones, "Honey, I'm only trying to keep the woolly mammoths away from you," very few seem willing to buy it. And they have good reason to distrust snoring. During the American Revolution, soldiers were forced to sleep in tight quarters with chronic snores, thus preventing them from getting a good night's sleep necessary to be fit for battle the following day. Now, in order to solve this problem, the Army began sewing small cannonballs into the back pocket of each soldier's uniform, thus preventing them from sleeping on their back. Ouch! Though it wasn't just the soldiers who snored, their leaders did too. George Washington was one of the 20 American presidents whose nocturnal noises have been documented. But Teddy Roosevelt prevailed over Washington in snoremanship. Once in a hospital, he snored so loudly that several patients in his wing filed complaints. Other noisemakers in Washington include John Adams, John Quincy Adams, Van Buren, Fillmore, Hoover, and many other presidents. While they all probably slept well, their first ladies probably didn't sleep a wink. Clearly, these men are representative of a large portion of the American population, because today, there are over 65 million snorers in America. Actually, in a recent survey, 71% of households confirmed having a snorer. 35% said that their partner snores, 12% said that their child snores, and an overwhelming 9% revealed that their pet snores. You could imagine my surprise when I realized that my cat's loud purring was actually loud snoring. Now, these midnight serenades have caused numerous problems in our society, especially for couples. After all, snorer at night leads lovers to fight. As one man stated, "Nowadays, the only time my wife listens to me is when I'm asleep." While men do have greater chances of snoring, women can snore just as loudly as men. In Davis, California, a neighbor complained to the authorities that the woman next door was snoring so loudly that he couldn't sleep. Now, the police gave the woman a $50 citation for snoring too loudly in violation of the city's noise abatement law. Now, the charges were eventually dismissed, but the enraged woman filed a lawsuit against the city, claiming that the citation resulted in stress, lost wages, medical expenses, and other losses. She received $13,500 in return for dropping the charges. So hey, crime might not pay, but snoring just might. With its rich history, recent studies, and nightly tales, the ABZs of snoring have been the subject of both complaint and humor. As Anthony Burgess says, laugh, and the world laughs with you. Snore, and well, you sleep alone. Maybe it's best to view the lighter side of snoring. Perhaps Mark Twain put it best when he said, "Snoring is simply sleeping out loud."